Number one is that the University of North Carolina wants to call me a liar because I reported that Jordan Hudson was banned from their building and football program, even though multiple sources explicitly told me that she is no longer welcome, allowed, or able to work for the university in any football context.
How'd you manage with 11 sources to still get the story so wrong, Pablo?
I know. It's embarrassing. It is embarrassing. If you were to believe a school that has every incentive to lie to cover up everything else that I reported.
Well, Pablo, this
is very
part,
funny in that way.
I've always found this a little bit scary around reporting. When you're out there and all you can trust is your sources. You have 11 of them. You are resolute as a university is going to want to protect itself. These football programs are strong. The economy around Belichick is strong. They will flog you if your information is correct. In today's age, people can deny everything. Why is your information correct? Because North Carolina is going to keep saying your story's bull.
Yeah, I think it's very telling, actually, what North Carolina did. So I have this report that comes out Friday morning that's deeply sourced, has said things that are not in question at all, which is basically surrounding this meeting from the higher-ups at the university, from the chancellor's office, down to the athletics department, down to the football program, in which it is said, again, that Jordan Hudson cannot be in the building anymore, cannot be around the team, is not wanted around the team, will not be around the team anymore in the way that she has been, by the way. And the way that she has been, just for people who are not caught up on this, she was CC'd, asking to be CC'd on every email to Bill Belichick. She was bossing people around behind the scenes. She was on the field with Bill on video in a way that scared everybody who has to worry about the reputation of both Bill and the program and also recruiting. And what the statement that Carolina did release, what it said was, I'm just going to look it up here because I think it's worth quoting, because all they needed to say was, this nobody reporter got it wrong. Jordan is welcome at our building. Instead, for the first time, they said this, quote, while Jordan Hudson is not an employee at the university or Carolina athletics, she is welcome to the Carolina football facilities. Jordan will continue to manage all activities related to Coach Belichick's personal brand outside of his responsibilities for Carolina football and the university. So they could have said, she's welcome here, period, end of story. Instead, what they do, in a very obvious way to me, is say, she doesn't work for us. She's not doing anything related to us. She is not employed by us in any legal way. Do not blame us for how she may be behaving. That's his thing, not ours. So that is what they said.
So stressful to be in the middle of this, or exhilarating because you know you've got your sources and you trust your sources? Again, this is a thing. I know this is a silly story. I know. But
it's about power. No, it's about power, but in a real way.
Yes, because I do want to get into this part of it, Pablo. Just the idea of the male football establishment. There's no way they're letting this into the building. Like they'll do with the they'll do the pink fields. They'll do the pink fields to traffic in whatever profit there is around breast cancer awareness. But the caveman locker rooms, not letting a woman this ambitious on the premises. Like that when this happens to their beloved coach, that's the end of the relationship with her.
So I think there's actually a parallel to the Draymond thing here, now that I sort of think it out with you, because on some level, I am also the person who's like, it's insane that you would blame Olivia Munn for Aaron Rodgers' performance on the field. That is like textbook misogyny, right? You should not blame the significant other of any athlete for how they perform on the field. This, though, is not that. This happens to be the case of an individual who is so ambitious yet clumsy in how they execute their ambition that they have made enemies in his family, in his inner circle, on his coaching staff, at the athletics department, at the university president level, at every media company she has worked with. The reason I have 11 sources, yes, I must say, I'm an awesome reporter, sure. It's really because everybody is like, you have no idea how bad this really is. Look, I want to take credit. I do want to take credit for me unearthing everybody one by one. What happened was in February, I reported the thing about how she wound up in the football, in the Super Bowl commercial, in this ad with Affleck and Damon, who she was negotiating
because she's
with.
His manager, because she's taking opportunity, a very great opportunity that any manager or agent would take if they too happen to have a relationship with Belichick.
I don't know, Dan, if this is the way you're trying to make it come off, but it makes it seem like you're saying North Carolina not letting Jordan run around and do whatever she wants is because they're anti-women, because she's just this young up-and-comer who's trying to find her place in the world, not she's the coach's girlfriend who doesn't really have any experience running a college football program.
Which do you think is the reason that she's not allowed? Because Belichick
It's not because she's a woman.
No, but Belichick puts his sons in coaching positions. Like Belichick can make economies out of being near Belichick. He can do it with anybody.
Oh boy. Listen to the episode, please. Please listen to the episode. The thing about how she's conducted herself when it comes to having that power, right, is not merely that she got the power, it's how she's been using it. And it has been in a way that is entirely self-destructive to the person she's trying to protect. The CBS Sunday morning thing, Dan, and the bird chirping, which I assume is just you guys tormenting me.
I don't know what you're talking about. Nobody. What are you hearing?
I presume that's psychological torment.
What are you hearing?
The reason why that's notable is because that is a puff piece that they were trying to make that she single-handedly turned into something that opened the floodgates on everybody saying this person that I'm dealing with is ruining the legacy and the reputation and the current modern day employment that he has at this university. This guy who is known for discipline and discretion and privacy and defensive strategy, it's being undone by her. And I'm not saying, by the way, that she doesn't have good intentions. I'm not even saying that. I'm merely saying that in Silicon Valley, for instance, to pay a compliment, there are lots of very young people who are very ambitious, who have no idea what the consequences of their decisions are. These are unintended consequences that leave us addicted to cell phones, for instance, just broadly speaking, right? A compliment to Jordan Hudson. She is a prodigy in that regard. The problem is that when you go and you break a lot of things along the way, there are these costs, there are these consequences, and it may result in her boyfriend, who she met when she was 19 years old on an airplane. It may result in him not having that job for much longer. That, to me, is someone who is terrible at their job, even if they mean well. And there is a difference between intent and effect, and we are in the world of results, and it's really going badly.
Pablo, is there a chance that he never coaches a game at UNC?
Absolutely. June 1st, man, look at that contract right before all of this. June 1st, the buyout from the Belichick side of things dropped from $10 million to 10 times less to $1 million. And the theory was that's because he wanted it out if the NFL came sniffing around and said, oh, I would love to have Bill Belichick. I can tell you the NFL has no desire to get into business with Bill Belichick, especially not right now. And then the question becomes, does Bill want to remain there if his bosses are actually saying, look, man, you can't operate this way. You can't embarrass our school this way. In which case he may not feel like he's in charge anymore. In which case, is it really worth it? If all you want to do is sit in the front row of the Miss Maine pageant, watching your girlfriend at age 24 get second runner-up, if that's what he wants if that's what he wants out of this, I'm not here to yuck his yum. This is not a story about an age gap relationship. This is the story about power and who gets it. And everybody around Belichick got walked over by a very ambitious young prodigy named Jordan Hudson, who is driving that program into the ground. That is why I'm reporting the story. It's not because it's fun and funny and because they're 28,000-year-old dildos. That is merely the happy side benefit of what happens when you open up the mystery box and find what's inside.
Pablo, does this story have a happy ending?
Well, it's hard not to make a Bob Kraft reference here when you ask that question.
Pablo has dominated this story from the very start. It's a pathetic thing to say about him. He was the first to report that Jordan was acting as Bill's agent months ago. He may be Peabody nominated, but this is the story he will be known for. It's pathetic. He's on MSNBC morning.
Wish I could fight back on that.
No, it's gross. The whole thing is gross. It shames you. It's embarrassing to journalism that you traffic off the clicks of this particular story.
But Pablo, it's fair to say, right, the only reason that CBS Morning even talked about this part of his story and the relationship is because Jordan was sitting right there and interrupting the entire time. Had that not happened, they probably would have maybe touched the subject very lightly, but moved right past it. And to your point, just promoted his book and made it a puff piece.
I have reported what that day was like from a lot of different angles, and you're exactly right. They wanted to tell they were at Bill's high school, his old high school in Annapolis, Maryland. The Navy sweatshirt was because they were there in Annapolis trying to tell the story of a guy who wrote a book in which his football lessons, his football wisdoms could apply to non-football people in any walk of life. And he cited her in the acknowledgments. They had posted about how they met. It's just the most softball question to just let you say what it is that you have already said before. But Jordan Hudson, as a PR person, didn't know that she would be on camera, on a microphone. And then the only reason it hasn't been worse, by the way, is because CBS has not released the half hour more of footage, I am told, in which she is giving like Spygate-like hand signals to tell him not to answer other questions. Like the whole thing, they never got to do, you know, in these things, you guys know this, you do a walk and talk around the setting. The reason no one knows it was his old high school in Annapolis was because they never got to the walk and talk. It ended. They never got there. And it's because Jordan Hudson, generously speaking, out of a self-protection, or rather a protection of the two of them together, this power couple, intervened in ways that entirely backfired. And that's why we're talking about this now. It's because they did it to themselves.
With the help of this guy.
His creative muse.
Like he was right there. He was waiting for something like that to happen.
Why didn't they go with Ideas Mill? That's so much better than Creative Muse.
Yeah, it's way funnier to be an ideas mill for somebody.
Well, and he couldn't. I don't think he could come at it with this kind of snark.
His creative muse.
His idea mill isn't as skeptical. Like he's doing his creative muse. He enjoyed doing that.
What ideas? He's a football coach.
Right.
So by the way, the idea for the book, I reported this in the episode too. It was Jordan's idea. She read Ray Dalio's book, Principles. She was like, you should write a book in which you give your lessons to the world. And they did.
Oh, but why would you say ideas? No, you should be in a Belichick. You should do what Saban's doing. He's in a Dunkin' Donuts commercial. You don't want, like, what do you mean? She's his manager. Like,
but also, like, you should also record a commercial of me in a polka dot bikini that we're going to put out there also. Like, that's where the line is kind of crossed from like manager and good PR person to this isn't exactly how that role works, right? Like a good PR person, you don't know who they are and they don't make the story about them and they don't show up to their clients' commercials and say, you should shoot one of just me also.
Yeah, it's not a great use of the power that she acquired as his girlfriend. Didn't go great, isn't going great. And yeah, look, man, I expect, and to Dan's earlier point, I expect to live and be haunted by this reporting because it is endless. I keep on discovering new things, including over the weekend.
This is your beat. This is embarrassing.
I'm just on this beat.
Meadowlark Media funding this is an embarrassment. Funding this this witch hunt. You did the same thing to Marcus Jordan and Larsa Pippen. You did the same thing. You trafficked in the supermarket aisle, and you should be embarrassed by, like, you're Peabody nominated. When I ask you the top 5 Pablo Torre finds out stories, they shouldn't be smut cells.
I mean, I tried to sell you guys on the death row stuff, and that was met with a resounding, can we talk about the dildos? So
back to that really quick.
Here.
Me and Mike were talking about it. Back then, 28,000 years ago, it was hot. Yeah. No freezers, no nothing to solidify what we had going on there. So
they just left it out?
How did that work?
And they just raw dogged the dung?
All right, what are you doing?
I'm asking the important questions, and it's his job to find out.
Are you going to just stay on this beat? I think you should just keep. You know what I think you should do? Cheap and dirty. I think you should have like 3 straight episodes on this. Like you should just.
How many people have used it?
Yeah,
I really could.
You should. You should go ahead and do.
I told you guys that on my top 5 list was a cock ring made of a goat eyelid. That wasn't in the episode.
I can understand.
That's the kind of stuff we had. Well.
That has a practicality and a pliability to the eyelid that I can comprehend. But the camel, though, like it's poop, it's feces.
Pablo, I am asking you to
Unclean.
cheapen. I am asking you publicly to cheapen your brand by just spitting out a bunch of Pablo Torre finds out morsels about this stupid ass story.
Wow. Can I give you? There.
That is a sweet ring.
Yeah.
Wow.
Looks
the
like
eyelashes are like on it still.
Can I give you one thing I didn't include in the episode that I think would be the thing I would do next, but I'm probably not going to because I care about
what don't you like, Zazzle?
Like that.
What don't you like? The cutting room floor
It's
thing?
too much.
No, that thing that they showed on the screen. I don't like
you don't
it.
like it?
Talk about the cutting room floor, the making of that thing. Look, There is one detail.
I don't like
Can I just give you one detail that I didn't include that I think should haunt everybody, including the University of North Carolina? Can I do that before I get out of here?
Yeah.
You remember the roast of Tom Brady, where Tom Brady made that joke about Bill Belichick and the ring cam? You guys remember this at all? Different ring.
What ring cam?
Oh no, that's the sound you. Look at this,
you're
Pablo.
doing
a
he trapped us
thing.
like a true journalist, the way that Billy trapped
is
Roy
that
before.
right?
Pablo,
We got you.
Right?
that's the sound we've been
Is that
playing
right?
behind
Huh.
you. Him coming out.
Oh.
This is actually
Oh.
Belichick, right? And he benches 310.
Can I tell you the story behind this video, which I couldn't even include in the episode?
Yes, please.
So the story behind this is that this was reportedly filmed, of course, at Jordan's abode. She has this whole real estate venture. She has this, budding real estate empire that I didn't report, but others did. Now, the question I had as a reporter when I saw that video and am haunted by that video, audio as well, is how did the Daily Mail get that video? How does one get internal ring cam footage from a home? How does that happen? Who had access to those videos? And let's say it wasn't Jordan Hudson, just for the sake of this hypothetical that I am just merely hypothetically going into depth on. If it wasn't Jordan Hudson, who was it? And what other videos might have been taken without Bill Belichick's knowledge at almost age 70, wandering around like a bear in the woods on a porch, looking for food? How else could they ensure that there is nothing else that could be monetized or used against the highest paid employee in the state of North Carolina? It's just a question that I think I can report now exclusively that Bill Belichick's family is worried about, that they're looking into. And I feel like the university that says I'm a liar might want to do the same.
Wait,
All
is
right.
he a hostage?
This feels like
I'm not saying anything. I'm just saying that it's a weird video. It's a weird video.
All right.
Where'd it come from?
What do you mean? Don't say you're not
who
saying
got it?
anything. You were saying.
Who got it?
Don't say you weren't saying anything.
Why
you were saying
would
something.
they do
Her
that?
creative muse. You were saying
that.
something. That's what
Idea
you were
mill.
doing. And I want to know. This is the Jordan and Belichick is Larsa and Marcus for white people, and I want to know when you're going to spread it around a little bit and go after your own people.
Like Manny Pacquiao's mom.
Well, he's fighting now at 48 or 49. He's coming back. He's fighting
He's a literal senator with deeply homophobic religious convictions. So not ideal for your boy these days on that front.
Don't ruin it.
I mean, it's true.
He's
my hero.
I can't believe that this is shooting up the charts. Because
Big breaking news follow-up story on the UNC Jordan front. Michael Jordan will appear on Peacock's NBA on NBC coverage as a special contributor. He is finally doing the media thing.
Michael Jordan, Peacock, NBC, that basketball deal. Everybody wants broadcasters. I wonder how much that cost. And I like it as special correspondent. He'll wander off his couch and do a Zoom 3 times a week. Give him $700 million.
3 times a week?
3 times. I'm sorry, 3 times a year. My bad. Thank you. 3 times a year, he'll wander off the couch and do a Zoom from from the Last Dance chair with a drink in his hand. Pablo, thank you. Excellent reporting. Way to waste time and money chasing these people down with 11 sources. It's not real journalism. It's asinine.
Like and subscribe.